we have Louie, correct?
Right. Yep.
Go ahead and show me. Sorry?
Did you say show them to you?
Oh, no. I mean, okay. Happy guy. So go ahead and just fill me in on Louie. I did see that, see what you're looking for, but yeah, just go ahead and fill me in.
Yeah, so he's just over a year old. We had him since he was 2 months old. We had a trainer early on. She came a couple times. We had basic commands, and then we went to Urban Pooch, where they kind of had the training sessions where you could go as many times as you wanted for levels or whatever, and tried to do some of that with him. While he's sort of in class or doing things, he seems pretty responsive, and he kind of knows what the commands are, basic ones anyway. But then his recall is pretty terrible, and then unless you've got a treat or something, he's not really open to following most commands. It used to be no problem putting on the leash to go for a walk, but now it's a big thing every time. I mean, eventually we can get the leash on him, but he's still sort of biting a lot, not hard, but just kind of using his teeth to if we're down by his leash, he's trying to put the leash on to his collar. He just tries to make it difficult. What else?
Well, a big thing is when we have guests come to the home, or when we meet people, he's just so overexcited, and wants to jump on people and stuff. Just absolutely no control. So that's big, and just like he won't come, basically. He won't.
That's his recall.
Yeah. He will not. He won't come. He just decides not to.
And if we go towards him, he gets suspicious often and kind of just jumps, and not jumps, but runs and goes under the dining room table.
And counter surfing. He or not just counter surfing, but grabbing anything that he wants to, basically, and running under the table and chewing the things.
Yeah, he picks up things, and so. But the jumping on people and the not doing a great job at sort of greeting people, and then just the basic. I mean, going for a walk and stuff like that is. I mean, his walk. Most of the time, we can walk fine once we get the leash on and we go on. A lot of the times, he pulls for part of the walk, but for the most part, during the walk, he's fine. Every once in a while, after he's done going to the bathroom or something, he starts going after the leash, but then you just pull it up and he settles down. But he's just generally overly excitable about everything.
Okay. That sounds like he's just very excited, overstimulated dog. Anything else?
I mean, as far as his energy level, we take him out 3 times a day, 2 times, usually a 2-mile walk for the first and second time walks, and then at night we just take him out to go to the bathroom. Can you think of any other issues?
No, those are the big things, I would say. So doesn't come. He picks up what he wants to and chews everything, whether it's in the home or on a walk, and he jumps on people because he's so excited.
And when he chews, it's weird. When he was younger, he would chew and was sort of teething, but anytime now, it's really, he just chews for destruction. It's almost, you can kind of see he looks what he wants, and he's trying to just destroy it.
Yeah. sounds like he's also kind of frustrated. So it's like a dog with like anxiety, or like, let's say like an owner, like, you know, those videos where like a owner like comes home and the dog's like super excited and they go grab a ball and they start like biting it and they're playing with their owner. They're trying to release their excitement or like their frustration on the ball. So they start chewing it. It's like those little, like for people, a stress ball, like when you just like you just that's like what they're doing. So he's doing that out of excitement and frustration. So he needs to let that out, right? So that's what's going on there. Yeah, so it sounds like just and how old is he?
Just
15 months.
15 months.
15 months. Okay. He's 40 pounds currently, right?
Yeah,
5.
yeah, 35 pounds. We just had him weighed because he had an eye infection. We were just at the vet.
Gotcha. So yeah, it sounds like he's just no boundaries, just kind of like, you know, very impulsive and overstimulated and just excited, like you're saying.
Yeah.
What do you walk him on? Do you guys use a harness or a regular collar?
Just a regular collar
Mhm.
and a leash.
Okay. And then like it's most likely the play biting, like he's what he's telling you when he's biting you when you're putting a leash on is like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. No, I want to do what I want, right? It's just like a little a bratty child, right? So then so yeah, you're right. It's not like aggression. It's not like he's like puncturing you. It's just like I don't want to do it. But that's all he does. He just like bites, like, you know, mouths you. He doesn't like run away or anything. Or does he run away too?
Well,
He'll run away
we
too.
have to get him to get the leash on,
Okay.
and then once we've got a hold of him as we're trying to put the leash on, then as we're going down to get on the leash, he'll start trying to bite where we're putting the leash on. And I mean, he's a little better in the morning, but not much, you know, because he has to go out. So I mean, he knows what we're doing. I mean, we do we do it 3 times a day. It's not a surprise. And then once the leash is on, he's largely fine. We go for a walk, and other than, you know, we have a doggy daycare place by here, and sometimes he thinks he's going there, so he's kind of pulling because he, you know, or if we're going towards the dog park that's near here, again, every now and then when he thinks he knows where we're going, he starts pulling in excitement. But other than that, he's okay on the walk. I mean, once we're on the walk, and then sometimes in the mornings, you know, after he's done going to the bathroom, he'll have a moment of being excited, but then and trying to bite on the leash, but then you know, you just kind of pull up on it and settle him down, and then he's fine for the rest of the walk.
Yeah, so it's usually the other way around. Owners usually like try pulling away, but pulling up is correct because pulling up de-escalates the dog, pulling back escalates, or left or right. So that's good. You're doing that. Good. What else? And for Louie, if you were to have everything you'd want with Louie, what would life look like? So, for example, you know, how does life look like? So, would it be, you know, a walk, right? You leash him up, no problems. A walk, and then maybe you take him to like a dog park or like a little open area. You need recall, and then you walk home. So that's like, you know, the standard, you know, owner thing: walk and then recall. Or are you guys interested in taking him like to patios, like restaurants, and just like it would be like, you know, you tell him down, he lays down for like an hour, 2 hours, and just doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we want a completely well behaved dog.
Calm
You know,
dog.
you know, if he's off leash, he'll come to us whenever we want him to come to him. When we tell him to sit and stay, he'll just lay there, you know, because we do go to some outside restaurants, and usually it's a pain in the ass, you know. I mean, as he's trying to you know, look around, and you know, sometimes we can get him calmed down. Sometimes we try to bring a chew that will keep him occupied, you know, while we're there. But it would be nice just if we tell him to sit down and lay down. So
Yeah, basically he doesn't care. I mean, he doesn't really obey. He does what he wants.
yeah,
right now. So
and as I said, we've done a couple of training options already in the past, and it's not as if he doesn't. This is weird to put on a dog, but it's almost he knows what he's supposed to do, but he's just intent not doing it.
Exactly.
And so, because if the minute I put a piece of chicken in my hand or a liver treat in my hand, and he knows it's time to get something, I can say sit, I can say down, you know, I can say up, you know. I mean, he's never gotten the stay, you know, he's never been able to kind of stay for an extended amount of time, and his and if we've got him on a long leash,
and we can't get him to drop it or
yeah,
leave it or whatever.
if we got him on a long leash, you know, we can get the recall okay, but if he's off leash, that, you know, we're not gonna, you know, he's not gonna come unless when he's ready.
Okay. Do you guys ever go like off like hiking with him, or you want to go hiking with him? Like, is hiking a regular thing in your life, or is that
We
not?
go on long walks.
Just long walks.
Okay. Yeah, I ask these questions just to kind of see what you're looking for, because sometimes owners are like, yeah, I'm gonna move to California and I need my dog like completely off leash. So then like we need to put them in a longer program to get all that obedience down and in there with the dog.
That's what we want. We want him. I mean, we want him to be able to be off leash. We want him to be as obedient and you know, and good of a dog as any dog is. That's
Okay.
what we want.
Good. Yeah. Cool. So like you've been saying, positive reinforcement has a very low ceiling. The common issue is what you've been saying. Once the treat comes out, they obey. But you know, and that's also like depending on the environment. So like if you're in your home, usually when you're outside, bless you, when you're outside and let's say he's at the park and you want him to do training, what usually happens is, like, for example, Louie will look at a squirrel, you got the treat, he's like, they're literally thinking, I can get that treat later, but the squirrel, well, I might not get this later. So it's a very rare thing that happens. And they usually opt for the squirrel, or they always go for the squirrel and they forget the food. So positive only is good for, you know, things you like to see, but then, you know, you'll get those dogs who just, no, I don't want to do it. I can get the food later, or they'll only do it for the food. And it's unrealistic for owners to just carry food with them everywhere they go for their dog. So that's why we kind of do the you know, balance training here. You guys are aware that we use e-collars and prong collars for training, correct?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So a lot of other trainers, they'll go, you know, they'll do the food stuff first, then they do prong, then they do e-collar, right? And these are all like them trying these things for the dog. For us, if we like to use an example of, like, you know, if like a plumber came to your house and said, I can do this way, that might 40% chance it'll be a successful job. We can do this way, maybe 60%, but this way gets you 100% or 90%. Which way do you want? You're obviously going to choose the 90 to 100%. So that's what e-collar is to us. It is a tool that'll get you closest to 100% or 90% of reliable obedience. Like I said, because if you're just doing positive only, you're having the leash and flat collar, right? Once you take that leash off, you have lost control, and then if you don't have chicken, it's just a mess. A step forward would be prong collar or maybe a gentle leader, right? So gentle leader will help address like the pulling in a way, right? But gentle leader is not a correctional tool. It's just to control, just to like stop the pulling, but the dog still wants to pull. Like that's how it's doing it. You're just controlling like the head. Because if you control the head, you control the body. But then sometimes that doesn't work. So then, you know, we go to prong. Prong is a good step forward because now you can correct your dog for pulling. Now you can correct for behaviors because prong is like the spiky collar is supposed to mimic a dog bite. So it's physical, right? Dogs are physical animals. So if Louie was at a dog park and maybe was like mounting a dog and the dog didn't like that, what do you think that dog would do?
They'd bite him.
Yeah. So it's just, there's no like, hey, off, leave it. Oh, you left me alone. Here's a treat, right? They don't do that. It's just, you do this action to me, I'm going to give you a consequence right away. So mount, boom, bite. Louis knows. He doesn't need an explanation. He doesn't know why. He just knows, okay, he didn't like that. I'll leave him alone. And if he doesn't get it the first time, that dog's going to keep increasing the correction until Louis will get it. All dogs are different. Some dogs don't care. Some dogs are very strict within, like, you know, they have boundaries. So the prong collar is supposed to mimic that. Again, dogs are physical animals, so that's why there could be some success with prong collars. The issue with prong collar, though, is sometimes the dog is too excited or too overstimulated that the prong collar won't work because they're so high up there. So if your strongest correction with the prong is a 7, but he's at a 10, you will never override the brain and you'll never calm him down because your strongest is a 7, right? Another issue would be once you take the leash off, you lost all control. So there's no off-leash control there because you need the correctional tool to be, you need to be attached to the prong collar. So then that brings us to e-collar. What do you guys know about e-collars?
Not a whole lot.
Okay. So have you guys ever been to like a physical therapist or a chiropractor?
I have.
Sure.
Have you ever had a TENS unit or like STEM?
No.
So it's like a little patch that contracts the muscle, the torn muscle. Chiropractors use it. There's commercials. I think it's like grow 6-pack overnight, and like they put this patch on your abs, and like it's supposed to massage your abs. That same technology is what is on our e-collars. So the same technology is used on humans. The way the doctors use it is, you know, they'll tell the client, let me know when it gets too uncomfortable as they raise the level. Once the client says, okay, that's enough, they lower it 2 levels down and they let the machine do its work. That same way is almost the same way as we do training for our dogs to, you know, how we use the e-collar. So the brand we use is called Dogtra. It's just like it's collar with a box and 2 contact points. So the collar is electric, yes. Shock collar is like the old school term. It's electric, but not electricity. So it's not flowing through the dog's body. There's 2 contact points. Whatever the 2 contact points are touching, that's what it's contracting. So if I have it on my hand, you'll start to see my thumb move as I keep increasing the number, right? And that's pretty high. To get my thumb to move, I have to be pretty high because humans can feel it's like 20, 30 around there, and it just feels like a little tickle, right? But since I've been used to it, I can keep going, and then you'll see my thumb go like twitch, right? On the dogs, you'll see like the little, like their ear twitch or like the neck like start to twitch, right? What else? So our collars, you have the remotes in the collar, they're waterproof, they're rechargeable, 1/2 mile to 1 mile long range, so you have a lot of range with that. And our collars also go all the way up to 127. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 127 levels of stimulation. So there are other brands out there that maybe go up to 10. So think of 10, the power of 10 equal to 127. We just have so many more numbers to be more specific to the dog, the personality, the breed, or like the environment they're in. We can really like pinpoint it, like what is their actual number. Because the issue with the 10 level e-collar is like 5 is making Louis yelp, but 4 is not working. He doesn't feel it. So then you're stuck. But for us, if 40 is too low, 50 is too high, we can go to 45, 42, 43. We can be very specific. What else? I saw he has long hair. So he might need different contact points to kind of get through the fur, because the fur acts as a buffer, right? For humans, the reason why we can feel so low is because we have no fur, right? So the fur acts as a buffer, and then the contact points that come with the e-collar, they're just like just 1/2 inch like that. So he might need longer ones just to get through the fur. But do you have any questions about the e-collar?
Eventually, I mean, is the idea eventually that you don't need the e-collar? He's finally learned, or is the e-collar a that's what you're using forever kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. So e-collar is only on when you need it. So right now, it sounds like Louie's pretty chill. It wouldn't be on. If you're going to go for a walk, it would be on always, even after training. Reasons are is because we can't predict what's going to happen on this walk. So let's say Louie's doing really good, and then we're walking on like a busy street, and like a car crash happens or something sudden happens, and Louie gets freaked out and decides to book it. Right? We've heard a lot of stories where owners get pulled to the ground, leashes come out the hand, or their hand, like they break some fingers because the leash is wrapped incorrectly, so they break fingers and then the dog is gone. A lot of stories. When that happens, Louie's running away from something he doesn't know what's going on. Right? He's in flight mode. When dogs are in flight mode, they're literally thinking kill or be killed. So Louie come will not make him turn around, just come to you. He's running for his life. So the e-collar will help you override the brain and kind of snap him out of that and force him to come back, because you're going to need power to override the brain in that moment. For the beginning of training, you're going to be pressing that button a lot, right? The more you use it in the start, the less you use in the future. So right now, since my dog is completely off leash trained and she knows e-collar since she was like 3-4 months, she's 3 years old now. I'll have it on all the time still, and I press the button like maybe like once every month, maybe now, like once every other, 2 months. I just it's just here and there, and it's usually for emergencies where it's like a situation like, oh, I need to get her real quick. I can't spend time just calling her first, then get her. I need to make that response fast. And I didn't want to take any chances. So again, it's on when you need it, and then like I said, if he's in the home and he's fine, then you don't need it. A lot of the behaviors I'm hearing about tend to go away with e-collar. Oh, before I go into the next subject, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you are using it less and less, though. I mean, there is a sense of they're actually learning something from the e-collar, right? I mean, they're learning behavior. It's just you're keeping the e-collar on forever, just in case of certain situations. But eventually, the idea with the training is that they'll start responding to the commands without having to have the button pressed, right?
Correct. Yes. Like I said, you're going to want to press that button a lot in the start so that you don't need to press it a lot in the future. Right? Because if you're inconsistent when you want to make commands happen, right? Maybe you're like, it's fine. I said sit, but he's not sitting. It's whatever. Then you're taking a step back in training. So if you have that collar always to enforce something, right? Because we always tell our owners that if you're going to make a command to your dog, sit down, stay, place, come, heel, right? You better make the command happen, because if one day he's like, nah, and you don't have the e-collar on, we just learned he can get away with something when the e-collar's not on. Which brings it to the other common question owners have is, how come when I take the e-collar off, my dog starts to jump on me, or maybe they start to pull me again, right? So we like to use an example with our clients in the Zoom in our consultations that we ask, do you drive on the highway? They usually say yes. Do you go the speed limit? No one goes the speed limit, right? But then once they see a squad car, what happens? And they say, oh, we slow down. Okay. Then when the squad car is like out of their vision or they're not there anymore, what do? We speed back up. So it's called opportunistic behavior. Has nothing to do with the training, has nothing to do with the way you guys practice, has nothing to do with the e-collar. It's just nature, right? Some dogs are able to understand that, okay, when this collar is on, I need to behave. But when the collar comes off, I know I can get away with certain things. So it's just opportunistic behavior. It's a nature thing. It has nothing to do with, again, the training. So like Jesse would like to call the collar a cop on a collar. So once the cop is there, they behave. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, you're correct. The idea is that eventually we say something, they do it. If not, we have to tap to kind of like make it happen. I was about to say something else. Oh, for Louis, sometimes since I'm getting a lot of like overstimulation, just like frustration, it's most likely because he just hasn't had the proper discipline, right? So a lot of behaviors clients will tell me about in these consultations will tend to just go away on their own as we progress during training, that they don't need to address certain things. It's like dogs who look for shadows or glares, and they're like, they'll stare at the glare or shadow, and they'll stare at it and just like start drooling, and just they're just like, it's like it looks like they're hypnotized, they're just drooling, right? Then like, and later in the program, like, oh, how's that shadow thing going? Like, oh, that stopped because we've given them a job on these walks. They're experiencing discipline. We're talking in their language, right? It's because the eco is still physical. It's touching them, right? But now we can go at a level where they're like, okay, this is serious. I can't fool around anymore. I can't like, I can't wiggle my way out of this one because it's very uncomfortable. So I need to obey now. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like a lot of the chewing stuff, usually that stuff usually just goes away throughout the training program by themselves. So for the pulling, that command would be, we would teach them how to walk with the e-collar, right? Command is called heel. Our version of heel is walk with me, stay with me, sit when I stop. So that if you take 5 steps with Louie, Louie takes 5 steps. If you take 10, he takes 10. If you come to a stop on your walk, he's to automatically sit at your side with a loose leash in any environment, no words. So it sounds super strict, so strict that he won't care what's going on in the environment around you because he's focused like, I need to be here next to dad, right? Or else consequence, or I'll get disciplined. So with that structure walk, it's giving him a job. So it's giving him something to focus on throughout your walk, so that like with the overstimulated dogs, the owners will tell me like, yeah, we take our dogs for like, a crazy amount of miles for the dog, but then they come home and the dog still has energy and all these other things because they're overstimulated. They don't know how to turn off. So when we do e-collar stuff, they're not only exercising physically the walk, but they're also exercising mentally. So they're more drained, they're more tired, and it's just more exhausting for them. So they go home tired. They go home exhausted. So the pulling will be covered in the heel. The jumping, the heel is like the base for that, and we'll go over that with e-collar. What else? The picking stuff up from the ground would also be covered in the heel command. And the indoor stuff, we'll see how that progresses as we go along with the training. And then if you find that there's still certain behaviors that are happening, we'll see if we can give you other tools besides the e-collar, just so you're not so reliant on the remote and the collar in your home. Because sometimes it's going to be like, well, I don't have the collar on, so how do I fix this, right? Or sometimes I don't have the remote and it happened already, now what I do. So we'll give you other tools, but then again, there is nothing wrong with having the e-collar in the home if you need it. Again, it's on when you need it. So I had an elderly couple. They're pretty older. They had a little dog, it's a terrier that would pick up stuff and run away with it. So like important things like keys, just crazy things. So since they're so old, they can't keep up with the dogs. So they kept the e-collar on all day. And anytime they saw this, they just press the button, the dog would drop it, and then they can pick it up. Since they had it all day and every day, eventually, because then that means that they're super consistent, right? Because it's any opportunity, they're already ready because they can't keep up. So then the behavior just ended up going away faster because of how consistent they were. What else? Any other questions?
I guess my one concern with the e-collar stuff is, I don't want our dog to be fearful of us, for us to be associated with the feeling coming from the e-collar.
Yeah. We've never had that. because there's nothing connecting you to the collar. So dogs never know who's pressing the button. They think it's just like the universe, right? So like for prong collar, right? If I'm gonna correct a dog, I need to give him a leash pop, for example, right? So I have the leash in my hand, connected to the prong collar, and I go pop. The dog sees this happening. It sounds dumb, but dogs know. Dogs, if I hold like a stick, and I touch a dog with it, they think the stick is part of me. They don't think it's something separate. There's like that's you're touching me, right? So they see this leash prong and the prong collar, you're yanking them, and it's confrontational. It's like you're doing the correction. But e-collar, they don't know who's doing it, so there's no connection, there's no confrontation. It's like resource guarding. A lot of trainers will put food down, leave it, leash pop on the prong collar, and then sometimes you'll see the dog attack the trainer because they know where it's coming from. Cesar Milan got bit because they were doing resource guarding, and he poked the dog, and he challenged the dog with his pressure. Right, that's arguing. You're arguing with the dog. You're being confrontational. So what did the dog do? Oh, we're in a fight. I'm gonna bite you then. And then he bit Caesar. I don't know if you guys saw that. Right, e-collar, that doesn't happen because there's no talking, there's no touching. You're just pressing a button, and they don't know where it's coming from. Right, they don't know it's you. They don't know it's. They only know that when this goes off, I need to go to dad right away to turn off the pressure. So if they're, it's, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, does that make sense? And personality. Sometimes owners are like, oh, my dog, like, lose their goofy side. Then if with the e-collar stuff, we haven't seen it either. Dogs are still goofy. It's just like right place, right time. That's when they're goofy. Any other questions? But that was a good question.
No, I don't have any questions. So other than so if we want to move forward, what's the process? What's the length of time, etc.?
Yeah. So were you guys looking for like a one-on-one, a board and train, a daycare and train? Or I can run through the programs.
A board and train is what we drop them off with you for a certain amount of time, or is that what?
Yes. Yeah, board and train is the 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, or 4 week. If you're wanting everything, all the control, it's the 4 week program. And you leave him here overnight for 4 weeks. You're more than welcome to visit him whenever you like. You can come stop by, take him for a quick walk, say hi, goodbye. When he's here, he gets to play with the dog still. He gets walks. And then how the training works is the videos will most likely be of me. So we record all of our sessions or introductory sessions. So his first week will all be filmed. You'll see me, put the e-collar on, teach him heel, stay, sit, down, place, which is go to your bed, don't hop off, and then the recall command. You'll see how we teach him. You'll see how he takes to the e-collar. You see how we work through certain things. Maybe he gets a little stubborn. Maybe he does his little biting thing. You'll see how we do that with the e-collar, how we correct that, and you'll see his progression. If you do the 4 week, you get 4 1-hour-long videos. First one is just the introductory sessions with the short leash. Second one is blending commands with the long leash phase. So the long leash is a 30-foot long leash where we kind of we hold the end of it. So now he has 30 feet to make mistakes. So make them, right? And we kind of clarify all of those things, right? The third week is we start training him in play groups with dogs around us and really testing his obedience with distractions. And the fourth week is we take him to Horner Park, and we kind of apply things in the real world, and we do a little bit of off-leash work there as well. So that's the 4-week program. It comes with it comes with follow-up hours, right? So an issue clients or dog owners will have is yeah, we got my dog back from the boarding train, but they're only obedient when the trainer's here. When the trainer leaves, they're not obedient, right? That won't happen with e-collar because e-collar is super transferable. So like when we work with like, you know, more than one person in like a one-on-one session, partner number one goes first. They usually do all the hard work because they're going first. Then they hand the leash off and the remote to partner number two, and it's super easy. They didn't have to do anything. Because let's say Louie's number is 30, right? When I press a number on, you know, 30, it's 30. When you press the number or the button on 30, it's 30. It's 30 for everyone. There's no, he's stronger than me, so he can do it, or she's more stricter, or all these other things. It's just 30 is 30. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the follow-up lessons are the transfer lessons, transferring all the commands to you guys. You know, we teach you how, you know, what he knows, how to teach him how to fix certain things if he messes up, and correct behaviors and all these other things. And all these follow-up lessons are taking place at Oz Park. Reasons are is because it's just the busiest park in the city. Everything's there: dogs, roller skaters, rollerbladers, skateboards, parties, baseball games. Everything's there. So it's just, you know, teaching you how to like work Louie in that environment. So that's
Besides the 4-week, did you say there was a 2-week as well?
Yeah, there's a 1-week program, which wouldn't be what you're looking for. 2-week, a 3-week, and a 4-week.
Okay. And then you said, but then there's just one-on-one training or something?
Yeah, so the one-on-one training is 6-week program, 9-week program, 12-week. So we meet, for example, let's say we're meeting on Sundays, 1 p.m., Oz Park, 9 times. That's the 9-week program. So think of a I'll explain the program. So 6-week program is I walk my dog around the block, I need recall, and I go home. The 9-week program is I walk my dog around the block, I need recall to go home, and I go to restaurants. The 12-week program is you do all those things, and then you also do like off-leash hikes like every other weekend, and you need him to like, you need more fancy commands, like, you know, maybe he's like somewhere like across the street, or like maybe he's somewhere, right? But let's say you're in a position where you don't want to recall, but you need him to stay there. Then you say down, he drops down over there, and then you go get him, right? So 12-week is everything. So when it comes to
is the 12-week equivalent to the 4-week?
Yes. So the pros and cons for the boarding training is we get it done faster. Cons is that we do all the work, and then you're just getting the videos and then like the follow-up lessons. So, you know, you're still learning a lot, but then let's say one session that it's not being recorded, something happens, right? And then like you don't get to see it. For the in-person, pros and cons would be, cons is that it just takes a longer time. Pros are you're doing all the work, you know, you're doing all the work. So for the one-on-one, it's verbal instruction. We don't touch the dog. We just tell you what to do. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be me handling the dog. It's going to be you guys. So you learn how to troubleshoot, you know, teach all the commands. You learn a lot more. But, you know, it comes down to like availability as well. If you don't have the time and commitment to like, you know, meet somewhere at a certain time, 12 times, then like the boarding training would be better for you guys.
What's the cost of the 12-week and the 4-week, the 12-week one-on-one and the 4-week boarding?
The 4-week boarding is definitely expensive, more expensive, just because we're keeping your dog here. Let me see.
That's why I want to know more about the 2 or 3 week.
Well, I want to know what the worst case scenario is.
The board and train program, the 4 weeks is $4,750. And then the 12-week program is $1,725.
Is the success rate of the two about the same, or is one better than the other?
It just depends. Because we get it done, right? All that's left is after the follow-ups, if the owner is doing the homework. that's pretty much it. I mean, we get it done faster. It's the same. There's not a really big difference. It's just for like for the owner, availability wise, and if they're able to commit to a certain day and time 12 times and then do the homework for the week and keep up with everything, the training.
And then what about the we had mentioned his excitability when he greets people, when new people come in. Is that something that would get fixed with all this?
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's just it's all symptoms of overstimulation and puppy behavior and like excitement, right? So we're at day one, that's already being addressed, the excitement, right? Here in our kennel, our facility, we can have 40 dogs here, no one's barking and no one's whining, where everyone walks in, they're super stunned, like, there's so many dogs here, no one's barking at me. Like, yeah, because we discipline every single dog. We don't allow barking, whining, mounting, playing with the cage, chasing their tail, none of these behaviors. It's just silent and structured. Because if we allow one dog to bark, then all the dogs are barking. So we're very strict with everything. So day one, we're not allowing jumping on handlers. We don't let dogs pull us. Even if they're not e-collar trained, we can still manage a dog to not pull us, right? So it's very structured here, and that will definitely be covered here at the facility.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, on your website, is there more information about the differences between like the 2 and the 3 and the 4 week for the?
Yeah, so think of a 2-week equal to the 6-week program, and then the 3-week equal to the 9-week program. What else?
What is your general success rate? I mean, do you have failures? You have one dog that just don't, or is it generally just the owner's fault if things don't work? You're not following through.
It's usually the owners. I cannot think of a dog that came here and we weren't able to train. Right? We've done 4-month-old puppies. They were here for a 4-week board and train e-collar. By the end of their 4-week board and train, I was able to walk around the facility with this puppy off leash. It was a Doberman, and she did everything. And then we've gone to I think like the worst one we have right now. He's not bad anymore, but he was like the worst starter. Was he did not want to do anything, and like it's the same. Like it sounds the same as Louie, right? Louie doesn't want to do anything he's told to, whatever. But this dog did not want to do it, right? He would like growl and he'd go at you. He'd do the whole thing. And he's a big dog, right? But we have the tools and knowledge to handle these types of dogs. And we got it done. We didn't say, no, he's too aggressive. No, we were able to do the things that other trainers wouldn't want to do or wouldn't want to put themselves in situations for, right? So I can't really, I can't think of a dog who just didn't work. We had one dog where they were just having reactions to the metal, and they would get pressure sores. So then like it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And then like, eventually, okay, we need oh, hello?
Yeah, we're here.
We needed like to switch it out, and then it just got like infected there, and like the owner was like, we'll come back and we'll do it again. But that's the only time where like it had to stop, was when that happened. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of a dog where it just didn't work for. Deaf dogs, blind dogs. We've done e-collar training with blind and deaf dogs as well.
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to.
Yeah, we'll have to discuss it, and so who should I contact?
Yeah. So after this consultation, I'll forward all the information we spoke about. So since Yeah, we don't need an answer right now. Just, you can think about it. But I'll forward all this, the information and programs we talked about to Tina. So Tina is a new admin, and she's going to be kind of doing my schedulings and calendar stuff, and I'm getting you guys set up and invoiced and all these other good things. So she is new. So if you just just have patience with her, she's still trying to figure stuff out and everything like that. But she'll send you a follow-up email with the programs we talked about, the e-collar I recommend for Louie, a link to Amazon if you want to purchase it yourself, or we sell them here as well, and they're both the same price. And forms that need to be signed. So there's 2 forms. If you decided to do the board and train form, or if you decided to do the board and train, you need to fill out the board and train form. If you decide to do the in-person, it's the in-person form. But she'll have those all in this email, it's a follow-up email. And once you sign the form, then we can begin billing and booking. And then once that's set, then you're on the calendar.
Okay. And then you mentioned something about the issue with the hair. Does the collar does it have interchangeable, like, longer prongs or something? Or okay, does it come with them, or do you have to order those?
You have to order them separately. She'll have those in the email as well, in case, because for like the board and trains, a lot of the time, it's most of the time, owners will just say, we'll buy it through you, because we have them here on the shelf. So
Okay,
we bring them out, we have the contact points, we equip them, we have it ready. But then if you're in person, you'd order it most of them order it themselves. They mess around with it, they feel it, they understand the functions and everything. They order their own probes, they get it fixed up, or they get the collar, they say, hey, I like to purchase the long contact points from you guys, and then we bring it first lesson, we get them suited up, and then we start training there. So it's just all personal preference, how you want to go about it with that way.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your time. Thanks. And we'll wait for the email and then get back to you guys.
Yes. And then if any questions come up, feel free to email me or Tina, however you want to go about it.
Okay.
Cool. Very nice meeting you guys.
Yes, you too.
And we'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.